Hey there. It's a lazy, rainy Friday night, and I'm just sitting here with my emotional support book, The Shadow Rising by Robert Jordan. It is book 4 in the Wheel of Time series, so I am just about caught up. I'm a little bit ahead of the show, I think. I haven't been watching the show. I've just been watching a guy on YouTube who gives a rundown of all the episodes. It's really nice to just watch someone who's enthusiastic about it talk about the episodes, and then I'll catch up on them later. They're nothing like the book, apparently. Well, there's some somewhat like the book, but they're not really sticking to it exactly. They lost. they went off chart with that one kind of around season 1, but not that it's not enjoyable. It's not a priority for me right now. I've actually been enjoying my time reading and not being so much on anything with a screen. I'm reading, the book, the old-fashioned analog version, or whatever you call it. But I was thinking about what I would do a video on this week, and since I am kind of my mind is still camping. I think I left my mind in the woods, and I can't wait to get back out there. But it is terrible this weekend, a flash flooding and the temperatures dropping, and so it's probably going to be one of those extended hibernation mode weekends. And that's what decided I wanted to talk about. Was whenever in the fall I mentioned feeling stuck, and mentioned in a video that the responses to my feeling stuck seemed to be about just kind of leaning into it, essentially, and not fighting it, because the fighting it apparently makes things worse. Ooh, I hope that's not loud. There's been a lot of lightning and loud thunder, but I thought it was kind of over. That wasn't too bad. It jolted today while I was at work. I about jumped out of my skin, and I wasn't sure if my heart hurt because it scared me so bad, or because the lightning was so close. I think it just scared me. But anyway, so I was thinking about the hibernation mode and the things that I did over the winter to help the feeling. And it wasn't just the feeling of stuckness, I guess, but just this general low energy mode feeling. And since I did decide to try out the hibernation mode, because in the past I would try to fight that low energy feeling and end up in overload. I might not, that burnout that really made things extremely noticeable for me was during the winter. And then the winter after that, I definitely had a few meltdowns. And so I can officially say now that this winter is officially technically over. That I think it worked, because I only had 2 episodes that I would consider a meltdown. The first one having a really good reason, being my water heater burst and water went everywhere, and it was Christmas Eve late in the evening, or late in the afternoon, too late to go get anything on Christmas Eve, and then that required replacing the water heater and all of that. So I didn't have a meltdown on the day that it burst, but on the day that I had to go to the store, I hate going to the store. So I had to go, and it was really crowded the day after Christmas, and they were still playing holiday music. And by the time I got back to my boyfriend's house from the store, I had it. But that's, I had legitimate reasons. That was totally fine. It wasn't just like I was, like it happened for no reason at all. And the other time was later in the winter. I started feeling, and it's just kind of been the last 2 or 3 winters, I just started feeling like everything in my life wasn't right, and that I needed to get to the bottom of it, and really strong urge to just, I think I call it the urge to purge, where it's just like, get rid of all online accounts, and as much as I can, cut off as much as I can in real life, and just isolate. And I just really have to fight the urge to wander off into the woods because that's where I find peace. But it's too cold to do that in the winter most of the time for me because, circulatory issues. But the things that I did that helped were keep a fire built. Keeping my fire going really, really significantly improved my just overall well-being. I felt warm and cozy, and it gave me something to do because I was always like gathering and splitting wood and checking on the fire and putting more wood on the fire and, cleaning out the ashes and cleaning up after myself, since my electric wood splitter is in my living room. That's basically constant sweeping. I don't want splinters in my feet. So, but just that cozy, warm fire really, really improved my mood. And it's also a visual stim for me. I'm sitting there watching it like, Sauron and the Precious. So I just sit there and watch the fire. And it's strange that fires don't bother my eyes like artificial light bothers my eyes. Not as much, not to the degree. I did go camping last weekend, and I asked my boyfriend if he could turn down the brightness on the fire. 'Cause it's a propane fire pit, and I forgot how to ask, like, what the word is. I still don't know what the phrasing for that would be. Turn it down. I was like, can you turn down the brightness on the fire? He did, but he thought that was funny also. He's like, yeah, I guess that's kind of what it is. I still don't know what the turn down the flame height. I don't know. Brightness works, but having a fire, keeping myself warm is a big deal also, because I feel so just, it's depressing being cold. It makes me kind of sad to feel cold and uncomfortable. So when I'm sitting around with no fire, cold and uncomfortable, and then I get confused, I guess, whether I'm sad because something is wrong or if I'm sad because my body is uncomfortable. And then I get stressed out. Which makes my circulatory issues worse. So it's just good that I had that fire going. And I don't think I can ever live in a dwelling without a wood stove. That is just such a really helpful thing, and it helps on the energy costs. So, and if the power goes out, I can also heat water on it and heat up soup and stuff like that. Probably fry an egg. I never tried that, but I probably could. So another thing that I did, because my energy just felt like really low, was switch back to full calf coffee just for the winter instead of going on antidepressants. Because I didn't think that going on a low dose antidepressant was really the right solution for me, given that I tried going back on Wellbutrin temporarily, like just for like a week, and it really just, I had a week of hardly any sleep, and I thought I just probably won't go on any of that stuff ever again. So, I mean, unless it's just really, really bad and I need it, but not for just like a seasonal thing. So I'll just be trying hibernation mode. But the coffee, it really helped, because I find that mornings are the hardest for me all the time, but especially in the winter. I don't really feel like I have a good reason to get out of the warm, cozy bed unless I have a good cup of coffee waiting for me. So just having some good coffee. I have been drinking Folgers, half calf, and because you can buy the half calf, pre-made half calf in the big tubs, and it's, a little less expensive. And instead of having to buy a good quality caffeinated, and a good quality for me is probably not the same for everyone, but like medium quality bags of caffeinated and decaf to mix my own. So instead of doing the Folgers, I went to Javalia, because that's, a company that I'm not protesting at the moment. And so it's good quality coffee, in my opinion, also. So it was a good change to have the caffeinated coffee over the winter, but I'm cutting back down to half calf now that it's spring. It's not like I woke up on the first day of spring thinking, oh, everything's hunky-dory. I'm ready to jump out of bed and conquer the world. I just don't like having that much caffeine. Sometimes I can tell a difference. My heart skips a beat or has an extra beat or whatever it is every now and then with the full calf. But that was just another thing I did. And another thing was leaning into the low energy thing with the low energy activities. And I like this Danish concept of hygge. I probably butchered that word, Hygge. It's basically like embracing all things cozy. So dressing in cozy clothes and fuzzy blankets and things like that, and staying warm by the fire, reading a book. And so I did the Book of the Ancestor over the winter, and I also played a lot of Skyrim. That's my cozy game. It's just one that I'm so comfortable with, and I've played so many times. It's just like, come back home to Skyrim. And I even have Skyrim lo-fi music on my phone for when I'm doing stuff, that I can trick myself into doing things sometimes. Doing menial tasks if I have Skyrim music going. But, however, I have the regular Skyrim soundtrack on my phone too. And I was on my way to work one day, and this is when I realized I'd probably been playing too much Skyrim. I was on my way to work one day, and I had all my songs on shuffle, and the Skyrim, like, enemy approaching danger music came on, and I leaned forward, and I'm like, looking at my windshield for a red dot, surveying the skies for a dragon, and oh my gosh, I felt just so dumb for a minute, but made myself laugh. I thought, okay, maybe it's time to give it a break, take a break, and find something else to do. And also getting outside a little bit in the winter helped me. My boyfriend and I went camping on an unseasonably warm day, New Year's Eve, and that was really awesome. And just getting out in the woods and exploring, and we took a few drives out into the national forest nearby, kind of scouting out dispersed camping spots and marking them on his software so that we can just go directly to those spots. We know some spots to go directly to when we're wanting to go camping and maybe short on time, or if we want to just go somewhere and set up camp, drop off the camper, and then take some roads that we can't take the camper on. So that was fun. That was a nice way to get out and explore nature in a climate-controlled environment, and then find a spot and stop and hop out, take some pictures, and then hop right back in the warm truck or the warm Subaru. We took both out. But yeah, I think maybe in the future I'll do a series called Is It Subaruable? Don't steal my idea. Because it's there's kind of like funny memes out there that's like, some guy in a Tacoma spends all day on, back roads in 4 low only to reach the destination, and there's somebody in an '05 stock Subaru waiting. They're dependable. That's why I got it. But yeah, just going out. Since I'm not really able to hike that much in the winter, being out in the back roads was a nice, acceptable substitute. And on the days that it snowed, I love the snow, but I can't be out in the snow that much also because of the circulatory thing. But the days that it snowed this year, instead of just staying inside and peering out listfully at the snow, my boyfriend gave me a sled. I haven't had a sled since I was in elementary school. So he gave me a sled, and I took that sled out and got a little sledding in. And it was single digits Fahrenheit that day. So I just kind of ran out, sledded down the hill, and ran back in the house to warm up. Also, not the same day, but like the same snow event, I went out and made a snow angel for the first time in who knows how long, probably a couple decades. But being out just in those little bursts in the snow, and then whenever I would go and gather up my wood and stuff and bring it back in the house, the time that I spent outside, I would just kind of be out there for a little bit and enjoy it, and just enjoy the serenity and the pretty snow. So I think that the hibernation mode thing went pretty well. And, I wonder why. I had to wonder why. Now I don't think I wonder. I think I know. But I wondered why it seems like they really, the big ominous they, society, I guess, pushes this idea on us that it's not okay to have low energy and stay inside and not want to do anything during the winter. And they, are quick to label it and pathologize it a seasonal affective disorder or anything, something like that. And while that may be completely valid, it's not the case in every person who just feels a drop in energy. And just observing animals, like plenty of animals have changes over the winter in their energy levels, their thickness, their hair thickness, and fur thickness, whatever you want to call it, and they're low. They kind of go into a low energy mode, and then there are the animals that do hibernate, fully hibernate, and then I don't understand why it would be really that different for humans who just have this physiological response to the seasonal changes. It's just like, oh, that's my body's way of telling me it's time to go into low energy mode and for the winter and conserve your energy. And food, it's probably telling me, like, from past experience in those genes, that food's about to be scarce, you need to conserve that energy and that kind of thing. So not that my food was scarce, I'm pretty stocked up. I stock up on emergency food just in case, and I always have poverty meals available because, growing up close to poverty, it's just kind of a thing you do. You buy big, huge bags of pinto beans and big, huge bags of rice and lentils and stuff and keep ingredients, flour, cornmeal, all those seasonings and stuff. It's just good to have that stuff around. You never know. But so I did get snowed in one winter, and that, I think that was it was the past 2 winters, and that's actually one reason why I got my Subaru, because I had a Mazda before, and I would get snowed in out here and not be able to leave for like 2 or 3 weeks because I couldn't get my car out. So but I think that it really helped me not to try to fight it. I didn't do anything social. And I think that, one reason why society tells us it's not good to allow ourselves to just be low energy and not do anything in the winter is because it's bad for business. And I'm bad for business anyway because I'm a minimalist, kind of. I mean, it doesn't look like it, but I could go around the house and tell you where everything came from, and nothing that I'm looking at is in here is new, like within the past 5 years new. So, except for that one pack of canvases under there that's unused. But I just don't buy much. I don't, and I like to reuse things, and I like to shop at thrift shops. So, it's not like I'm really doing much by just staying home and not doing anything and not getting out and participating in the whole civilization thing during the wintertime and holiday stuff, which is really overwhelming for me anyway. So this year I did have the holiday invitation. My brother said, "What are you doing for Christmas?" And I said, "Do you have plans for Christmas?" And I said, I plan to stay home and be warm and cozy." I hope he wasn't offended. If he was, I guess that's, what do you call it, collateral damage for protecting my nervous system. So that's, I guess, all I've got on the what am I calling it? Hibernation mode, low energy mode, whatever it is. I think that I had pretty good results, and I didn't experience too much in the way of, just those 2 days of like meltdown. The one that with the water heater, and the one where I was just having a day. There could have been some sort of, I don't know, maybe it was a hormonal thing. I have no idea. I can't really remember what day it was, but I just called into work, took a day, and it was no big deal. So, much better than the last 3 winters. I can say that for sure. Hibernation mode. That's something definitely that I'm going to be trying again next year. If I make it. If I make it past summer mode. We'll see.